Traditional emissions monitoring surveys have been performed in the oil field primarily with handheld or fixed optical gas imaging cameras, or in the utility space using handheld or car-mounted sensors. Whilst these can give a binary indication that you have a leak or not, they have a number of drawbacks. The deployment is inefficient and can't lead to wider aerial coverage in 3 dimensions. We know that gas flows are not necessarily restricted to 2 dimensions, particularly when there are winds. Drones don't get tired and can cover hard-to-access areas in addition to that aerial coverage, and can be programmed for repeatability, important when you're tracking your performance over time. SeekOps' drone-based solution is also independent of the type of drone, meaning we can be deployed in a wide range of operational scenarios and geographies, using not only our highly skilled pilots, but third-party drone service providers using our automated processors. Current techniques, particularly those based on reflectivity technology, do not work well over water. We have recently successfully demonstrated the ability to use our sensors to measure emissions from offshore platforms in the UK sector of the North Sea. Current tools cannot be used accurately to quantify leaks. This quantification is becoming increasingly more important for companies as they need to highlight their performance against their commitments to sustainability and ultimately their path to net zero carbon emissions over the next 20 to 30 years. SeekOps' ultra-sensitive sensor can highlight emissions in the part per billion level, and when flown smartly can localize these trace leaks. I come from a background of nearly 30 years in a major oil and gas service company, where one goes out of their way to meet customer needs. Now, as then, these major energy companies will be looking to the service providers like SeekOps to help them. When one is looking at greenhouse gas emissions, and particularly new technologies, nothing is more important than inspiring confidence in the end user that what they're seeing is truly representative of their current emissions. In numerous independent tests, we have demonstrated that we have no false negatives, no false positives, and yield trusting and happy customers.
Hello, my name is Andrew Aubrey, Senior Vice President of Strategic Partnerships here at SeekOps. I'm responsible in my role for growing the company, both in terms of geography, where we support companies, and then also in terms of growth into other verticals. So right now, SeekOps is focused on oil and gas leak detection services. So we're making proprietary sensors, integrating those on drones, and then using those in upstream, midstream, and downstream oil and gas to offer efficient and comprehensive leak detection services. We've realized that there is a lot of application areas that we can also provide value to. So in particular, the renewable natural gas industry, in particular the biogas, dairy biogas realm is where we're focused and started to expand to. We're also working in the waste management sector to provide indication of leak locations, emission rates in landfill environments. In terms of geographical expansion, we're really looking to support the international community with our unique technology solution. So that has led us to work in the Middle East, that's led us to work in Western Europe, and also led us to work in Canada. So besides the North American focus, we're really going to be leveraging strategic partnerships in expanding the base of our pilot network to actually be able to support readily the international oil and gas operators. I was co-founder of the company, and that was done in 2017 by myself and a colleague who was also at JPL at the time, Brendan Smith. And together we built the company to where we are today, currently located in Austin, Texas, and really focused on serving the oil and gas and renewable natural gas sectors for effective and comprehensive leak detection, localization, and quantification. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jim Rutherford, Vice President of Engineering for SeekOps. Welcome to our engineering mechanical prototype room. I'm directly responsible for the development and bringing to production our new generation methane sensor. My background is from Minnesota, EE, and Masters of Technology. I have just under 20 years of experience developing specifically optical infrared methane sensors. And I'm really excited for the opportunity to be working with SeekOps on the development and bringing to market this fabulous next technology. This is truly state-of-the-art technology. It's based on an optical open cavity, free flow through of the air, mid-IR lasers. So we're combining instantaneous response with very high sensitivity. So this truly represents the state-of-the-art in detection performance for methane leak detection and emission analysis.
Hi, my name's Stuart Buckingham from Melbourne, Australia. I'm the Vice President of the software team here at SeekOps. Our job is to provide the useful information that customers can use to make actions on their emission data. I run a team of dedicated software developers and data analysts whose sole job is to deliver the most valuable product to the customer at the end of the day. We take the information that's generated from our sensors and then use the power of cloud computing to generate results that customers want to see.
Hi, I'm Brendan Smith, Chief Operating Officer and co-founder here at SeekOps. And here we're in the laser lab at the headquarters in Austin, Texas. I have here a Seeker methane sensor, part per billion sensitivity, fully assembled, totally self-sufficient in terms of battery and radio. This is in its final form factor. In the lab here, we do all of the laser characterization and assembly of the optical cell that's housed right here in the head of the sensor. We're a laser spectrometer based sensor, so absorption spectroscopy. We do all of the drive electronics and all of the calculated spectroscopy on board here. We also have an onboard telemetry unit which allows us to stream all of that data that we're gathering in real time down to our operators in the field. So what goes into making one of these things is we take a raw midwave laser, we combine that with some collimating optics, set the focal length at a precise distance, and then introduce it into an optical cell or a Harriet cell in the case of this. That allows us to have a really long path length, so increasing the sensitivity significantly over a small package. After we're done assembling it into what we see here, we have an environmental chamber which allows us to ramp it through temperatures and humidities that we would experience in the field. Behind me, we have some calibration gases at some very specific concentrations, which we then flow through each one of the cells that we assemble, allowing us to get a good calibration curve for every sensor. Over at the stations here, we do all of the optical alignment with a visible laser that allows us to make sure that all of the path lengths are correct, distances, and the beam pattern is accurate. And the reason why this is important is because when we're dealing with midwave infrared lasers, they're invisible to the naked eye. So we need to make sure that we have a very rock solid platform that we're building upon as we introduce an invisible laser. Because at the end of the day, we're then dealing with a path length that is based on the tolerances that are set throughout the assembly process.
Hi, I'm Mike McGuire, Director of Energy Services at SeekOps. You're here with me and the team at our operations warehouse as we prepare for a deployment to North Dakota next week. Our function here at SeekOps is to work with customers to understand their needs surrounding natural gas leak detections and general emissions monitoring. We understand their needs and develop solutions for them based on their specific requirements and facilities using our SeekOps methane sensor and data processing algorithms. We take those solutions and implement them in the field for them, making sure that we comply with all of the requirements set forth by the customer, and most importantly, ensuring that we maintain a high safety standard.
We initially focused on the onshore U.S. and offshore North Sea markets. The layers of automation that we have now added to our operational workflow allow us to use third-party drone service providers to bring our solution to a global customer base. Our recent successful emissions monitoring and quantification efforts for the renewable natural and biogas markets have demonstrated the viability of our services into this rapidly growing market where we plan to establish a leadership role. Our upcoming Series B fundraise will help accelerate our evolution and expansion into all of these markets.